Hello everyone and welcome back to this Total War Warhammer information video. You guys didn't think you would be seeing that intro again, did yous? Well, there's a reason I'm making this video. I've been asked a total of 4 times now, twice by people I know in real life, once as a private message, and once by, well, he didn't really ask me about it, he just spoke about it in one of the comments. Canilvia in one of my comments asked, well, we spoke about it, discussed it in one of the comments. So I thought I'd make a video on it, considering it's come up quite a few times. All this information is quite old, relatively speaking. It all came out post-launch, obviously, which you'll see why in a minute. And it is all in the forums, which I'm going to leave links in the description and in annotations to the forums for where this information comes from, because it is really all their information, which I am just passing on to use. The first thing we're going to talk about is the DLC. Now, this one is the least impressive out of the two finds in my opinion. It is this little image here, which comes from the game's actual files. If you have Total War Warhammer on your PC, this information is on your PC already, and there's a big discussion in the forums that is dying down now, that it's basically, according to this, it's confirming that Wood Elves are DLC free and Beastmen, no, other way about, Beastmen are DLC free and Wood Elves are DLC 5. Now, I don't think it confirms this. I think if I was a betting man, I'd say it's very, very good odds that when CE was making the game, that was their plan. So it almost confirms it, but it doesn't guarantee it in my mind's eye. But it does give us very, very good odds, as I said earlier, of seeing them pretty soon, and a lot sooner than I expected to see them with. I expected them to save all elves for the elf expansion, and I expected, well, Beastmen, they could come in the first game, but they could come in any of them, really. So that's quite interesting to see. I'm really looking forward to both those races. If you want to talk about this more, then go to the forum post about it. That's the real place to go. I'm mainly just passing on information here. Like, none of this is my own, so to speak. And remember, it is still speculation. Though there is some very strong evidence, it is still technically speculation. The second one for me is the much more interesting thing. Actually, no, go back to the first one. When you take that in conjunction with the blog, which I've left you as a link for in the annotation and description as well, that means Wood Elves are 100% not the free playable race pictured, which was what most people were assuming. A few people in the forums were disagreeing, thinking it was the Wood Elves, but almost everyone was agreeing that it was Bretonia is the race that they're meaning in this blog that came out post-release, and it shows you there their plans for the coming year. So if you're looking at that plan, it would mean that we're not going to see either of those DLCs until next year, because apart from the free playable race, there isn't a DLC slot in there really for those two factions, as far as I can see anyway. The interesting thing is, though, they did say in that blog that they were wanting to partner things up and have rivalries as a big thing in their DLC. So there might be one DLC where you get 2 Empire famous generals who are constantly at each other's throats, or you might get a faction leader, a legendary lord from one faction and a legendary lord from another faction that have been known to constantly fight and interact with each other. And this leads me to the next thing. Beastmen, Wood Elves. They're arch rivals, so to speak. They're the two that live in the forests, and there's the constant, I think, Shadow War? It's something war. that's constantly fought in the background behind the scenes between the two of them, because they both want control of all the forests, where the Wood Elves are mainly just in Anfal-Loren, or however you pronounce it. I've never really actually tried to speak those words before, and the Beastmen are over the whole planet. So I'm thinking that with the rivalry thing they've said, and pairing up DLCs, I'm thinking that they might come as a bundle together as one. So not as DLC 3 and DLC 5, they might come together and be as one. And how awesome would it be if they were thrown in with Bretonnia free? Because CA love to give us something free when they give us a couple of new factions to play as well, and that would work for that new playable race slot that people are talking about, because you'd get free playable races. It just says new playable race, it doesn't say there's only one, and it just says one of them will be free. It doesn't say there's not going to be more that aren't free. So that is what my hope is. It's a fool's hope, but that would mean we would get it this year, as long as CA are going according to their original plan. And so, like in the past with Attila and the sand cultures and all that, you get 2 factions are part of the paid DLC and everyone gets the 3rd free. That makes sense to me. That is quite good, sounds logical. It's what CA have done in the past. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. And we could expect that late, some point this year. Also, something of interesting, well, something that is interesting to note, for the arguments that are, oh, I doubt we'll see Wood Elves, Beastmen, Skaven, any of the other races that aren't physically on the map at the moment, but their lands are. The argument against them being in game is that CA has never done that before. They don't add new factions to the game, they don't add new settlements to the game. But if you actually look at the DLC blog and the race pack section, it actually states race packs will introduce a new playable race to the game, either as, and I'm quoting here, remember, either as a first appearance or, and then the rest doesn't matter. So a first appearance, so that will mean they're new, physically there. So that means it is possible that we get them, even though CA has never done anything like that before. So I just thought I'd add that in there. Moving on now to the other thing. Yeah, the other thing found in the game files, and this one is a map. And it's not just the map we've got the now, it's a bigger map. Actually, it's about 3 times the size. And what do we know is going to be about 3 times the size when the game's done? The map for all 3 games combining. Now, there's a little tweak I'll tell you in here straight away, already done to this, to make it easier for you to view. Originally, all those coloured borders, that was the full colours for the whole of the playable land as it is the now. They've sort of coloured it in with the same purple to make it easier for us to view, so we can see what. So all the areas where the coloured borders is the playable maps right now, and all the rest of it is what we can at least guarantee CE is planning to have the game map look like when all 3 combine. Same as earlier though, this is what CE is planning. Remember, they might change it. They haven't even released this information themselves. It's been found in the game files. So once again, if you have Total War Warhammer on your PC, this map will be in your game files. So, what does that mean? Well, I think this map looks awesome. It is exactly 100% what I thought we were going to see in full expansion of the game. I thought we were going to go slightly over to the east to get the Ogre Kingdoms and maybe the Chaos Dwarves in, and we're obviously going to go down south, get the Tomb Kings, and we're obviously going to go west to get Ulfwan, Nagrond, and obviously the Lustrian Skaven, the Lustrian lizard men in there as well. So this is exactly the map I thought we were going to see, and this one, if I was a betting man, I'd put a lot of money on it being accurate. I predicted this is what it was going to look like right from the beginning. Lots of other people predicted this is what it was going to look like from the beginning. It is the logical thing for CA to do. This section of the Warhammer world is where all the major races are, and once you go outside this, next to nothing is written on them, really. So it's really nice. Really. It's nice as a confirmation, because up till now it was speculation just based on logical steps. It was speculation based on logical, what we think we would do in their situation kind of thing, what makes sense. It was that kind of speculation. But now we can say it is that, and we have this as evidence as well. We actually have evidence to go along with it. So it was really nice to see these. And once again, the forum post, you can go take a look at it and see all the full information, all the speculation everyone else has got, which was really nice. The general forum consensus is that the Elf expansion will be the third game, and the main reason they're saying this is they think the elves are going to have the biggest impact on sales left, and they think that the naval battles that will have to come in the elf expansion is going to take a long time to implement and create, whereas the other expansion doesn't have as much in terms of needing done to create it. Because obviously the elf expansion, which is even just speculation, we're getting the elf expansion, but is like this map, it is pretty safe speculation. But I've never really thought about it, but I've always thought of the elf expansion as the second game to me. It just feels to suit that much more, because to me a chaos themed expansion is the final one, with the full forces of chaos demons and all that. That seems a much better theme for the finale. Not end times, don't go near end times, but a chaos themed expansion with them just getting the final evil races in there, like chaos demons, and chaos demons being the ultimate bad guys. That seems like a grand finale to me for all three games. I would expect everything to the west to be in the elf expansion, so Nagrand, Ulthuan, Lustria, and I would expect Arabi and the lands to the east where the ogre kingdoms are, the Mountains of Morn, is it? No, I think I'm getting the mountains middle muddled up. I don't know the mountain names that well, but the lands to the east and south to be in the what I think will be a chaos themed expansion. I think it'd be nice for it to be a chaos themed expansion. So yeah, there we go. Links are in the description if you want to see these. The conversations are starting to die out in these threads, but it's not that old that you can't resurrect them yet if you have your own wee say. So feel free to pop over, take a look at them, and just see other people's speculations, and feel free to write in my comments what you think about these little snippets of information, because this is what I think. Hope you've all enjoyed this. See you all next time.